Okay, so I'm gonna get start. Let's start then. Okay. So first one is chicken. Chicken. Second one, apple. Apple. Third one is cake. Cake. Fourth one is banana. Banana. And Emmanuel, you need to be on slide 3. I think you're on slide 1. You need to be on slide 3. Número 3 arriba, okay? So that you need to be on this one here. 1, 2, 3.
3?
3. Slide 3. Okay. How do you say slide, Mama? How do you say slide in Spanish? These are slides. 1, 2, 3. What do you call them?
La plantilla, Emmanuel.
Okay. Emmanuel, you need to be in plantilla 3. Creo que estás en plantilla 1. Yeah. You need to be on plantilla 3. That's it. Okay, good. Now, okay, let's continue. Orange. Orange. Okay, good. Ice cream. Good. Milk. Orange juice. Orange juice. Pear. Fish. Egg. Lemon. Oh, very good. Tomato. Apple juice. Hamburger. Water. Water. Water, Manuel.
What is that water?
Water. The one at the bottom is water.
Water.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you.
Water. See. And with that, you've got bingo. Well done. You win. Okay. So what are the other foods here? This one is chicken, right? This is chicken here. This one is meat. This one is, can you see any idea what this one is? It's rice. And this one is chips or French fries. And finally, we have egg and fish. Okay. No, great. Now we're going to read a short text. Welcome, Anna Maria. We're recording this so you can rewind and watch it later if you need to, okay? I'm going to give you a short reading text, and it's about favorite food, okay? Now, here's Alex, right? He's Simon's friend. Now, it's lunchtime. When do we eat lunch? Is it midday, mediodía? Or is it in the evening? Emmanuel, what do you think? Is it midday or is it in the evening? For lunch. When do we eat lunch? Mediodía or en la tarde? When do we eat lunch? Yeah, midday, right? Okay. So you're going to read the text and answer these three questions. What is his favorite breakfast? Is it chicken? Is it fruit and milk? Or is it meat and rice? What's his favorite lunch? Is it chicken, fruit and milk, or meat and rice? Or is it, what's his favorite dinner? Chicken, fruit and milk, and meat and rice. So you choose. Okay, Emmanuel, click on the link there, please. Welcome, Christian, back. Welcome, Anna Maria. Oh, yes, we've already said hello. But okay, so you've got 2 minutes to answer 3 questions. When you've finished, you press submit. It's called contestar, okay? ¿Dudas, Emmanuel? Finished?
Finished, teacher.
Okay, press submit. It says here, this button here. Submit. And let's check your answers. Oh, 2 responses. Great. Okay, let's check that. What's his favorite breakfast? Is indeed fruit and milk. Good job. What's his favorite lunch? His favorite lunch is chicken, correct. And his favorite dinner is meat and rice. Wonderful. Ah. we're going to okay. Now we're going to do some drawing. And I'd like you to draw your favorite food for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner, just like Alex. Okay, so look at this list. We've got milk, bread, eggs, juice, chicken, rice, water, fish, carrots, apples, meat, potatoes, bananas, and oranges. Okay. So I'd like Mama to please draw her favorite food on slide 4. Okay, and Emmanuel, draw your favorite food on slide 5. Okay, but you've got to choose from this list. Okay. Tienes que escoger de esta lista. Okay. What's your favorite food for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner? Okay, so I'm going to do mine, Andrew. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to put, well, for breakfast, it's got to be milk. Okay, so I'm going to draw milk here. And I like bread. So I'm going to draw some bread. For lunch, I like, chicken and rice. Chicken and rice. And for dinner, I like potatoes and meat. Yeah. So draw your favorite food. Difficult to see what these foods are. Okay, we finished, yeah? Good. All right, now you're not going to tell me what those foods are, but what we're going to do is watch a short video to show us how to do the speaking task. Okay. So, oops. We have some expressions here. So we're going to watch the video and tick the expressions that you hear. Okay. So if you hear ready, ready, then you tick ready. If you hear it's your turn, then you tick that. Huh? So I'd like, please, Mama and Emmanuel to work together, please. To tick them, because maybe one person will hear something the other person doesn't hear. Okay. So it's slide is it? Let's move it along. Okay, it's slide 4. Okay, slide 4. So watch the video and mark the ones you hear.
Ready?
Hold on, just a second. Ready now. I'm ready now.
You go first.
What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food for breakfast?
It's
Travado. Sorry. Some reason it stopped. I mean, let me close some items. That might help. Let's try again. Let me stop and start again. Okay. Empezar de nuevo. Okay, here we go.
Hold on, just a second. Ready now. I'm ready now.
you go first.
What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food for breakfast?
It's bread and a glass of milk.
It's your turn.
What's your favorite food for breakfast?
My favorite food for breakfast is a glass of milk and eggs.
It's your turn to ask.
What's your favorite food for lunch?
It's chicken, carrots, and potatoes.
Okay. It's your turn to ask.
What's your favorite food for lunch?
My favorite food for lunch is water, chicken, and rice. It's your turn to ask.
What's your favorite food for dinner?
It's bread, milk, and an apple. It's my turn to ask. What's your favorite food for dinner?
I like meat and rice with water and apples. What's your favorite food for dinner? Oh, you said it already. Thank you.
Okay, good job. Let's see if you got them all right. Yes. So as you can see, these are expressions that we use for taking turns, right? When we're doing something. So we can also use this one. All set means you're ready. But these we use for taking turns, tomando turnos, turnarse, yeah? When we're speaking. It's your turn. It's my turn to ask. Yeah. And maybe go ahead. We could use that one there. Go ahead. Okay, are you ready to do it? Ready to do the task? Emmanuel, ready, Mama? Okay. So, Mama, you're going to tell Mama,
Yes.
Mama, you're going to tell your son Emmanuel what is your favorite food, okay? And Emmanuel is going to tell you your favorite food, and you're going to draw it. You're going to draw your friend's food in the space below, yeah? Should we wait for him to come back? While we wait for him, we got we can practice the questions. I guess he's gone to the bathroom, right?
It ran out the battery.
It's okay. So while we're waiting, we can practice a bit of pronunciation. Okay, so the words, the big words in capitals, we stress, right? We also stress the the bolded words in negritas, okay? But we're going to start by saying for dinner. Okay, repeat after me. For dinner. Okay, I can't hear you, Paula. I don't think yours.
For dinner.
For dinner.
For dinner.
Food for dinner.
Food for dinner.
Favorite food for dinner.
Favorite food for dinner.
What's your favorite food for dinner?
What's your favorite food for dinner?
Okay, and then we substitute for lunch.
For lunch.
Food for lunch.
Food for lunch.
Favorite food for lunch.
Favorite food for lunch.
What's your favorite food for lunch?
What's your favorite food for lunch?
Okay, great. Now let's include Christian in this. Breakfast. Christian.
Breakfast.
For breakfast.
For breakfast.
Food for breakfast.
Food for breakfast.
What's your favorite food for breakfast?
What's your favorite food for breakfast?
Okay, great. Emmanuel, we're practicing questions, okay? Repeat after me. Repeat after me. For dinner.
For dinner.
Food for dinner.
For dinner.
Favorite food for dinner.
Favorite food for dinner.
What's your favorite food for dinner?
What's your favorite food for dinner?
Okay, now let's try for lunch. For lunch.
For lunch.
Food for lunch.
For lunch.
Favorite food for lunch.
Favorite food for lunch.
What's your favorite food for lunch?
What's your favorite food for lunch?
Great. And breakfast. For breakfast.
For breakfast.
Food for breakfast.
For breakfast.
Favorite food for breakfast.
Favorite food for breakfast.
What's your favorite food for breakfast?
What's your favorite food for breakfast?
Okay, and the response, I like oranges and apples. I like oranges and apples.
I like oranges and apples.
Okay, great. Now, so we're going to work together and we're going to draw each other's food. Okay, so. Okay, so. Emmanuel, you're going to draw. Vas a dibujar mi comida favorita, okay? You're going to draw my favorite food, and I'm going to draw your favorite food, okay? But you've got to draw them here, okay? So let's start. I'm going to ask you, okay? What's your favorite food for breakfast, Emmanuel?
This apple?
Apple, okay. It's an apple, so I'm going to draw an apple right here. Okay, now it's your turn to ask. It's your turn to ask.
What is favorite food? Favorite dinner?
For dinner, I like potatoes and meat. I like potatoes and meat. Okay, so you've got to write, here you've got to draw, Emmanuel, potatoes.
Can you repeat,
here.
please?
Yeah, I like potatoes and meat. Sí, que tienes que dibujar papas y carne for dinner, okay? All right. Good. It's your turn to ask.
Whoa. What's your friends and what's your favorite food for lunch?
I like chicken and rice. I like chicken and rice.
Rice. Good rice.
Ah, that's spaghetti.
No,
Ah.
it's rice.
Ah, that looks like spaghetti to me. Rice is like little bits like that, yeah?
Um,
That's right, like rice, yeah? Good. Now, it's my turn to ask. It's my turn to ask. What's your favorite food for lunch?
for lunch is water and juice and
Water and juice.
apple. Apple.
Okay, here's a carton of juice. Yeah.
Yes.
With a straw, right? Juice. And what else?
And rice.
Oh, you like rice?
Uh-huh.
Rice. So water, rice, and juice. Okay, there we are. There's your rice. Okay, good. Okay, it's your turn to ask.
What is your favorite food for the breakfast?
What's my favorite food for breakfast? My favorite food for breakfast is milk and bread.
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, my favorite food for breakfast is milk and bread.
Thank you.
Okay, it's my turn to ask. What's your favorite food for dinner? What's your favorite food for dinner, Emmanuel?
Is banana. I like favorite food is chicken and banana.
Chicken and banana.
Mhm.
Great combination. Okay, so chicken and banana. There's your chicken
Yes.
and banana. Good.
These are perfect.
It's perfect. Yes, very good. Good job, Emmanuel. Okay, so let's just practice saying some of these words again. And then we're finished. I like milk.
Is juice?
Just repeat, yeah? I like milk.
I like milk.
I like bread
I
And-
like bread
and chicken.
and chicken.
I like meat and potatoes.
I like meat and potatoes.
I love oranges.
I love oranges.
I hate rice and water.
I read like
No, I hate.
I
It's
hate.
like detest. Yeah, I hate rice and
hate-
water.
Water.
Uh-huh. Rice and water. Good. And that's it. We're just about finished. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for your participation.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I hope you found it interesting. Let's have a look at the framework here for the lesson. So it very similar to the adult framework. Yeah. If we're looking at a 40-minute lesson, for speaking, there's usually a lead in. So what was my lead in activity? Would you say today? It was the bingo activity. It's to, yeah, bingo. And the purpose, I guess you can guess that it was to warm up, get them used to using L1. Prepare some vocabulary. Okay. So that would be our purpose of this stage here. And then we've got our language and task preparation. So what would that be? Well, first we've got a little reading, haven't we? Yeah, this kind of gives them exposure to the target language. So the reading was this.
So the reading and okay.
Yeah.
Just the reading and then the form, or the form in the Google form was the language prepared.
Well, before we work on the language, we need a bit of a context, don't we? Yeah. So this was our context, really. Yeah. So you could see that it was about talking about favorite meals, right? Okay. So there we're recycling a bit of the vocabulary from the bingo. Yeah. And introducing some of this language in a less explicit way, but he's getting exposure, right, to the language. So this is about exposure. And he's going to need this in the speaking task. Right? Then we have a video of someone doing the task. Now, it could be also it could be just an audio. So we're still on the preparation stage here. So but notice in this when they're doing the speaking task, it's not so much focusing on the vocabulary, is it? It's about these useful expressions so they can do the task well. Turn taking. Did that surprise you? It's not so much about, there's not so much emphasis on teaching vocabulary, because in a way we're kind of assuming that they know the vocabulary already, right? What we're interested in here is that they can manage the conversation, right? They can take control of the interaction. How do they do that? Well, they use these expressions for turn taking. I'll go first. Are you ready? It's your turn. Right? And that is a speaking skill. You see, just teaching vocabulary on its own is not a speaking skill. See the difference? Does that surprise you? Or does it make sense? Yeah, because well, if we're just teaching vocabulary, that we're not teaching a skill. But that is the purpose of these speaking skills lesson, is that we want them to be able to speak confidently using the kinds of strategies that they would use in their first language, right? In your first language, you would do this. You would say, it's your turn, it's my turn, and so on. So there we have these. Turn-taking expressions. Okay, but we also need to work a little bit on the pronunciation. So we had some back chaining. Have you heard of this expression? This is a useful technique for students who are not very confident in speaking English, right? So you start with a small unit and then build up with the units, so that they can use whole sentences or whole questions. So let me just show you how we did this again. Back chaining was we start with maybe the word at the end of the sentence. Dinner. Add the preposition for dinner. Add another word. Get them to repeat. Add another word. Get them to repeat. Present the full question. Get them to repeat. And then we substitute one of the words with another word like lunch. And then it's the same process. Now, hopefully this repetition will help to build the confidence of the students. Yeah? This is what we call begins with D. What do we call it? DR. DRI. DRI. It's a drill. But you're substituting some of the words, so it's a substitution drill. Used for building confidence. Okay, then we have our speaking task. Looking here. What are the stages in the setting up of the speaking task? What do we do first? Do you draw your partner's food or do you draw your own food first? Can you remember, Anna Maria?
He draw first the one that his favorite food.
Yes, so you draw your own food first, right? And then during the task, you listen and draw your partner's food. All right, like that. And so we've got an objective way to see whether the task has been successful because we can see the food being drawn, right? Okay, the drawings are not great. They're not Michelangelo, but hopefully the student enjoys it as well, because they generally enjoy drawing simple things, don't they? What learning styles are we using here? What learning styles can you see being used?
Visual
Yeah, visual, because we've got pictures.
and auditory.
Auditory, because we're listening, right? Listening and speaking. And finally,
Kinesthetic.
kinesthetic, because we're drawing, aren't we? Right? So we're involving all the different learning styles here. That's one of the advantages. It's going to make it more engaging for the students, and they're going to be more, their attention is going to be fixed on this. They're not going to be distracted too much because they're involving these different sensory inputs. Yeah, so let's try and keep it as sensory as possible. So they're actually forgetting that they're speaking because they're listening and drawing and speaking themselves. Okay, so that's a good advantage of that type of speaking task. And this is often called an information gap, right? Because one person has some information that the other person doesn't have. And that gives a reason for us to exchange information. Yeah. It's not like a gap as in gap fill. It's just there's a missing information between us. So we have to, that provides a reason for communicating. Yeah. And we could, there wasn't really any feedback, but maybe we could have made more of that. I think I just praised him for doing well. Yeah, but maybe we could reduce the amount of time we spend on feedback, maybe 4 to 6 minutes. Should be enough. Okay, so that's pretty much a 40-minute lesson, speaking skills. Okay, so today's session is going to be fairly short because what I'm going to do is just introduce your teaching practice points, show you around the materials so that next Monday, I think 2 of you will be doing teaching. And I guess 1 of you will be next Monday, next Wednesday with me. All right, so let's have a look at our timetable. Here we are. So this is today. It's quite short. Tutor demo, guided lesson planning. We're not going to have the whole session tonight. But next Monday, you'll be doing your first teaching practice. So I guess it'll be 2 of you. I guess Christian and Anna Maria again, and Paula next Wednesday with me.
In the last timetable that Tanya shared us, the 3 of us presented TP1 on Monday and TP2 on Wednesday.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. In fact, yes, that makes sense. Total sense. Yeah. So the 3 of you are doing TP1 on Monday, and the 3 of you are doing TP2 on Wednesday. Cool. Okay, so we should have a look at the teaching practice points for TP1. Totally, yeah. So our teaching practice points are the following. Share it with you again, so we're all on the same page. So the following TP points are to guide you in your lesson planning. The purpose of basing your teaching practice on a course book is only to give you a guide to level and appropriate materials and activities from your class, and to expose you to current widely used materials. It is not meant to be prescriptive. We're not telling you what to do, right? So when you think about planning, you should also consider such issues as likely relevance, level of relevance and interest for your particular students and adapt accordingly. Now we're using the Kids Book series, and the material I've used today comes from a Kids Box course book. So you'll find the link here. And if you look under primary course books, okay, we're for the TP1, we're going to be using Kids Box 2. And there you can see there's a student's book, an activity book, which is like the workbook, and there's web tests as well. For you might find this useful for TP2 when you're making little tests for them, and a teacher's guide. It can be really useful to read over the teacher's guide for the unit that you're teaching. You don't have to read over the whole teacher's guide, but just for the material that you're taking from this book, it's a good idea to look at the procedures. Yeah, they give really detailed procedures for these course books. It's really good. So it gets you to think in the mind of the teacher. Sorry, the mind of the materials developer. So have a look at the teacher's guide, student's book, it's PDF. And there's a useful teacher's resource pack as well there. Now, audios, there aren't any MP3s, but you can find them on YouTube. Yeah, there's lots of kids' books audios on YouTube if you need an audio. So it's not difficult to find. Now, we use this book on the course because of its syllabus and methodology, which tend to reflect current thinking in the English for foreign language world. English for foreign language teaching. And it's a good book. It's widely used throughout the world. It's from Cambridge, so it's very well developed material. What's particularly good about it is that they've got these recognizable characters that appear throughout the book, and they've got little projects that that kind of are like transversal. So, for example, if you've got your Spanish teacher at your school is doing a project on, I don't know, geography or mathematics, even they've got geography and math projects and stuff, simple ones, right? So English sort of crosses over and into the primary school curriculum a little bit. Now, the teaching practice points divide the unit into possible sections or lesson segments for each trainee, with a different focus for each, such as listening, reading, language, etc. Your teaching practice tutor will give you assistance using preparation time in advance of the lesson. This assistance is maximized if you have read and understood the TP points before sitting down with your tutor. Yeah, it's useful, it's not essential. As the course progresses, it's expected that you will begin to be more independent in your planning. Please consider the possible needs of your colleagues for help also during this time. Okay. Now, teaching points, they make reference to the student's book, the teacher's resource book, TB, and the activity book. Okay, so the first one is going to be Anna Maria doing writing. Let's have a look at those. So it's Kids Box 2, page 91, an activity book, page 91. Now you'll find there in the material there's a useful examples of little postcards. Postcards are like little messages that people write to people back home when they go on holiday. So let's get page 91 up. Here we go. Are you following this, Anna Maria? You can see this okay, Anna Maria, because this is your material for teaching practice 1. Are you following? Hello. She left and it's coming back. Okay. Hi, Anna Maria.
Yeah, sorry.
Hi,
I
Anna
just
Maria.
heard that
Yeah.
I can use postcards for the writing holidays.
Yeah, but here are the postcards you can use as your models, right?
Ah, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, they're on page 91.
Okay.
Right, so you could follow the instructions here. So you can start by reading these little postcards. There's 3 of them. So read and match to the pictures, and they're all helping holidays. Right, this is the topic.
Okay.
Yeah, now maybe your kids will have never been on a helping holiday, but you know, it's a nice concept, isn't it? That you go on holiday to help in some way. It could be to help the environment. Yeah, you can see number 1. It looks like which one does it match?
Like a duck?
It's like a duck, isn't it? But covered in oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe you could, in the lead-in, elicit what's happening in the photographs. Right, it looks like a duck covered in oil, and you can see there's people on the beach and they're cleaning up. Yeah. So, which photo does it match? Does the card match with? So, is it A, B, or C with number 1?
It's with the letter C.
Yeah, number 1 is C, right? What about number 2?
The number 2 is the letter B, and the number 3 is the letter A.
Yeah, so the elephant part. Yeah, good. And then you could use the audio if you could find it on YouTube. We don't actually have the audios, but you can look for them on YouTube. If not, there's the audio. The audio script is in the teacher's guide, so you could record it or read it out. Right. So that's just a quick comprehension check. Then maybe you could focus on some of the
phrases.
Some phrases from the text.
Or the pronunciation.
No,
as you did.
There's no need to do pronunciation because it's writing.
Ah, okay, perfect.
Yeah. So you're more interested in basic writing skills, yeah? Like maybe joining clauses together with and, right? Can you say there's lots of and, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bit of infinitive there. So what look at the stages for a postcard. Usually there's a greeting, hello. There's some news, right? And then a signing off. So if you
Okay.
have those 3 stages of the writing, you need to point those out to the students, right? So postcard, let's make a note of that. Postcard has 3 stages. There's a greeting. There's some news about where you are, what you're doing. And there's a greeting. So maybe you could have one of these postcards on a Jamboard, and maybe the students could put labels on the parts of the postcard. Then you could maybe look at some examples of the language.
Like what?
What, for introducing themselves? I'm. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I'm Miss Jones. And also where you are. That's important, isn't it? You could have some sort of signing off. We are happy, lots of love. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if you're writing home to your mum.
So I don't need to put the listening.
No. Well, you could do the listening here. This one here, just as a comprehension. That's just a comprehension check, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
If you wish. Yeah. But it's a good idea to check the comprehension of what they've read. Check they've understood. So this is the function of exercise 4 here. Right? Because before you expect them to write, they need to understand the model, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty important.
Perfect.
Okay. Now the other thing you might find useful is the activity book, page 91.
Yeah.
So let's get that open. Here it is. Ah, yes. Close that for a second. Too many open. Activity book 91. So they've got some more situations that maybe they could write about, like some kid working with in a dog shelter. There's a kid teaching another kid, a younger kid, how to read Braille. Yeah, I guess these are all kinds of, these are helping holidays, aren't they? Different types of helping holidays. So what you do then is, I mean, you could do this. You don't have to do number 3, but it's a good idea to do number 4. So they have to think of their own helping holiday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So they are going to write about their holidays.
Well, a helping holiday. So make it a specific task that they have to do. Okay. So first of all, I want you to think of a helping holiday. You can take one of these. You know, it could be working at a dog shelter, right? Imagine going on your vac. I know it's a bit of a crazy idea, but going,
if
yeah.
they didn't have one situation like that, what they are going to do?
No, you give them this. You've got to tell them, you got to choose one of these. Okay.
Ah, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Like working at a dog shelter in a vacation. Yeah. What a nice vacation. But okay. And then they've got to draw it, and then they've got to write about it.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Now you could do this on Jamboard, like I did today.
Yeah.
Now they can write the text on Jamboard so you can see what they're writing. And they can also draw on the Jamboard at the same time.
Okay.
Like I got Emmanuel to draw on his Jamboard today.
Yeah.
You know, because getting them to draw first is a good way of scaffolding them, isn't it? Because it allows them to, in a way, think about what they write. They're going to write in a different way, and then they write about it.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got 40 minutes to do that. So see how much writing you can get them to produce in 40 minutes. Not very much, but they can try, can't they? Does that sound interesting?
Yeah, like for example, I'm thinking that maybe they are going to write or invent the name of the kid of the picture, and they are going to write about them.
No, I would give them some options, but they say you've got to choose one. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
So maybe if you look in the teacher's guide, it will say what are these things. Like this one is like the collecting trash. This one here is working in a dog shelter, teaching a blind kid how to read Braille, and the other one is like cleaning birds that have been affected by oil slick. Yeah. So see what they can produce. Yeah. Don't worry too much about the vocabulary. I mean, you can always give them vocabulary as they are writing. You can be monitoring them. Say, I don't know how to. The student says, I don't know how to say that.
Okay.
You can let them use Spanish. You know, no sé cómo se dice. All right, and then you ask them, okay, what's the word, and then you give them the word, and then they can continue writing.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, but don't bombard them with loads of vocabulary. You can't always anticipate what the vocabulary they're going to need. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Give them the opportunity to write.
Okay.
See what they produce. Because it's not a vocabulary class, yeah? It's not a grammar class.
Okay.
It's a productive skills lesson.
And how we are going to correct the mistakes when we check the writing? We are going to check with them if what they write, right?
Well, that's the benefit of using these tools like Jamboard or Google Slides.
But we are going to correct them in that moment.
Well, let them write first.
Okay.
Right? Don't interrupt them while they're writing.
Okay, perfect.
Wait until the end, and then maybe you can do some correction then. Yeah. Okay, let me show you. This is an adult lesson, writing lesson, but this is the tool I used, right? It was, so they had to write a profile on findmeafriend.com. And first I got them to, brainstorm things that they liked, disliked, and hates. Like, love, and hate. Then I got them to look at a model of a writing of. Okay, so this was their writing model, and I got them to check the meaning, the gist task. What does Karina want you to write to her? But bearing in mind this is adult, so it's going to be different to young learners. Yeah? But some of these tools might be useful. Then I use the Jamboards so that they could match look at the parts of the text. They match the parts of the text with the stickies, working together in pairs. Then we looked a bit at the linkers. But because these linkers help them to join parts of a sentence together and make a bigger text. So this is a useful writing skill. Yeah. So that's tool you can use for the layout, the format of the text, and also some of the language. Then the actual writing tool would be on Google Slides. The Google Slides is here, and okay, so I got them to write in this box. Each student has a slide, write in the box. We've got 10 to 15 minutes. And at the end, they read and evaluate each other's writing. And the final part is to give some, this is what you do, Anna Maria, you can give some feedback on the language.
Okay.
Yeah. You can either do it out of the text, or you can change it on here. You see, it's easy for you to do that. I like to play with my cats. Obviously, it's going to be simpler for you, simpler for your students, simpler for you because it's going to be a lower level. Does that make sense? I'm sure you'll come up with something. Anyway, on to Christian. You're doing speaking. And it's Kids Box 2. The topic is hobbies. It's all about talking about hobbies. Now you could begin with, this is a suggestion, but you could begin with this text in the web tests unit 10. And it looks like this. You don't have to do this, it's just a suggestion. But it sort of exemplifies the kind of language that they'll need to use for the speaking. Now you could use this as part of your introduction to the lesson. the language they're going to need for the task, the speaking, is things like, do you like singing? Answer, yes, I do. No, I don't. And what's your favorite hobby? And then it's, yeah, so it's here. This is the language that you're going to need to prepare them for, so they can use it in the speaking task. And it's exercise 9, page 74 of the student's book, the same student's book. Get it up. '74. So it's like, this is their speaking task. This is where this is where you need to go at the end of the lesson. This is what they need to be doing, asking and answering. If you feel they need a bit of audio, you could perhaps use this number, exercise 5. There's like a little, but this is the speaking task. It's like a survey. Maybe you could put these questions on like a Google Doc in maybe a table. And the students have to ask each other and either listen to the response and maybe tick yes or no. And then perhaps at the end of the lesson, get them to report back on what was the most popular hobby. Maybe you think that maybe some of these won't be relevant, like fishing. But you could leave that in because probably no one will say, I like fishing, right? But you could maybe add 1 or 2 other ones like playing video games, which of course will be very popular. All right, any doubts?
Yes, in the case that when I give the instructions to the students and they don't understand, it's a good idea that tell them some words in Spanish to understand.
Well, why don't you try and demonstrate it? That was one reason I made this video. I had this video, yeah? You could even, so, I mean, it's not too difficult to make a video on Zoom. of you asking asking these questions to another person. Or an audio. That's also a possibility. The other possibility is that you demonstrate it with one student, or you demonstrate the activity with a teacher. But a demonstration is always better than an explanation, even in Spanish. Yeah? Because the demonstration is also going to give them exposure to the language that they're going to be using in the task. That was one of the purposes of my giving you this video today, right? Okay, it wasn't a very good video, was it, really? It was a bit blurry, and it was a bit sound quality was not great, but I mean, it would have been better if it'd been two kids doing the activity as well, yeah, rather than two adults, right? That would have made it more.
Hold on, just a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready now. I'm ready now.
You go first.
What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food for breakfast?
It's bread and a glass of milk.
Yeah, it was a bit slow as well, so maybe we could have rehearsed it, yeah. But still, I think it's better than an explanation. Huh? Because they're also hearing that language for taking turns. It's your turn, it's my turn.
Okay.
Go ahead, yeah, start speaking now, please.
That's the reason that we teach them some phrases before the activity.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
but most of the language you'll need for the task is actually here in these questions, right? But they also need to know, the students need to know how to answer yes, I do, no, I don't, right? Because they're all yes, no questions, aren't they? Yes, I do, no, I don't, except for this one. What's your favorite hobby? And for that, you need it's. So the students need to know it's baseball, it's basketball. That's the only one that's different.
Perfect.
All right, and then if you've no further questions, Paula, it's on to you. And it's hobbies in your case. Hobbies. All right, so it's the same topic. So in a way that makes it a bit easier for you, so you don't have to work too much on introducing the topic again. The language input is a bit different. It's like, love, I don't like, plus ing. Okay, that's the language that they need to actually write about their hobbies. So it's page 72, exercise 5. Okay. So just be careful you don't end up like using the same. Yeah, just make sure only one of you uses this. But that's quite a good lead in. Start to the lesson. If you can't find the audio, you could look in the teacher's guide and read it out for them yourself. It's just a shame we don't have the MP3s, but we don't have them. And then it says activity book, page 72. Draw and write about you. So where's the activity book? Here it is. 72. Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, sorry. No, you don't have to use all of this. You could remove some of it. Because maybe you could remove my hair is and my eyes are. And maybe focus. Remove this. And you can have my favorite toy because that's linked to hobbies. And so maybe if you have my name, I'm years old. My favorite toy is I like, I don't like, I love. My favorite hobby is.
This is for my living.
This is your writing.
Oh, right.
This is your writing task. I mean, this all could be done on a Jamboard or on a Google slide. You provide these sentence starters. So let's have a look how it could be done. Let's see how it could be done on a Google slide. So let's give ourselves a new slide here. Right, so and we've got our text box. So my name's I'm years old. So you're giving them a template, and they've got to put their answer in here. you're kind of forcing them to work it within this template. You could change it from toy to game. My favorite game is, because that might give them the chance to talk about their video games that they like. I like. I don't like. I love. All right, so each student has one of these. You put the students' names on there. Okay, Manuel. Okay. Now, if you try and do this, you can figure out what the language is that the students are going to need. So it could be, I like reading. I don't like swimming. I love favorite hobby is so what do you notice about the language patterns here?
Okay, the like an ing.
Yeah, so maybe you could give them a model of something like this that you've invented, and then get them to look at the language. What comes after like? What comes after I don't? And I love. Well, it's all ing form, right? But there also can be nouns, right? So maybe you could find something from maybe you could use maybe a crucigrama as for the lead in, because that would help them to work on the spelling, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. Then maybe you give them a model. Like an example of this, and then they've got to write their own. Yeah, the drawing of the little picture is optional, isn't it?
Okay, Andrew, just I want to know if I understand. The object is the boy right? And I don't need to practice a lot vocabulary.
You shouldn't need to pre-teach a lot of vocabulary. No, no, because what you do want, the language you do want to input is this, because that
Okay.
will help them to, that is what helps them produce the writing, the structure, yeah?
Okay, so the pronunciation is not important.
No, not important because it's writing.
Okay, just the grammar and the meaning.
Yeah, but first you need a model, like an example text that they can copy, right? Or examine. So you can then point out, okay, look at this sentence. What is following like? What is following love? Yeah, so that's your way of focusing on the form.
Okay.
Yeah? All right, let's make this into our model. Yeah, my name is Emmanuel. 11 years old. My favorite game is Zelda. Okay, so this could be a model. All right, so then you can ask questions. Maybe some true or false, just to check that they understand, and then focus on the form. What do all of these sentences have in common? They're all using ing, right? Then you give them the blanked out version. And you maybe at the end you could get them to read each other's and find out if they have anything in common. And then you can correct them at the end. Mm. For the lead in, maybe you could work a little bit on the vocabulary, that's all. Yeah. That's how you could use the crucigrammar. Okay, guys, I think that's just about it. Any further questions?
No.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
One.
to send the lesson plan, it's the same that the other.
yeah, you can use the same lesson plan as before, or if you want to, you could use this more advanced one that I've used. You know, the example I gave you. If you look in the email, if you wish, you could try using this more detailed lesson plan. It depends how you feel. If you feel that you're happy with the basic lesson plan, that's fine.
Okay.
But I can give you the advanced lesson plan template. It gives there's a room for more detail on things like problems and solutions, which is quite a good idea to have those on. See if I can find it. Oh yes, here it is. I'll send it to you anyway. Yeah, you could decide, but don't feel you have to use it. Yeah, it's okay to use the basic one.
Okay.
But thank you for pointing that out. I'd forgotten about that. And if you notice in my version, it's got kind of spaces for putting the materials in. It's more detail about the main aims, subsidiary aims, assumptions. So lead in to review food vocabulary. Links to materials. So you can check the materials again if you wish. Content preparation. If you're going to rely on like Google Tools, Jamboard, Google Forms, it's also a good idea to have a worksheet as backup in case the students don't know how to use them or they have technical problems. Yeah. But that implies extra work, so I don't want to put too much extra work on you. I also did an analysis of the language, which can be useful. I'll send that to you as well. But again, this is more advanced lesson planning. Don't think you have to do this. Look, there's breakdown of the meaning, form, and pronunciation. Here I was trying to anticipate some problems that they might have, especially if they didn't understand the English words. One trouble they would have, I think, would be like the difference between lunch and dinner. Right? Because in Mexican schools, lunch is something like you take as a snack to school, isn't it? Yeah. But in the English-speaking world, lunch is usually what we have for comida. Yeah. And in Mexico, we don't really have a heavy meal for cena, do we? It's not often, unless it's a special occasion. More often, we just have merienda. Yeah. But I didn't want to spend too much time explaining all of that in my lesson. So it just takes too much time out of the class. All right. Any further doubts? Oh, the other thing is, if you know any more kids that want to come to these classes, please get them to write to Carmen, their parents. Carmen is looking for more students, but It would be good to have even more. But thank you, Paula. You saved us tonight. And Emmanuel was amazing. Tell him thank you very much. Okay, well, I'll save this recording for you. No more questions? Okay, well, you can go and have your early merienda. Good luck on Monday. See you next Wednesday for TP2.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.